Jimmy Kimmel, who's
Got
got a
it.
role in this kerfuffle. It's
Yeah,
not a kerfuffle. It's an assassination attempt egged on by morons. Your thoughts about Jimmy Kimmel's
well, I didn't. I
response?
mean, the worst part about it was not just what he said. That I think everybody remembers that he set up a little skit and photoshopped himself at the dais of the White House Correspondents as if he was Trump or somebody, and then they splice shots of people that he doesn't like in the audience in unflattering ways, and you got the impression that they were actually there and listening to Jimmy Kimmel, which was kind of a dissimulation. And then he said that, look at beautiful Melania. She has, and she was smiling, the look of a soon to be bereaved widow, something to that say. In other words, Donald Trump will either die or be shot, and she'll be probably kind of bereaved. She'll be happy about it. And then when he got caught on it, then he lied and said, well, I was just thinking maybe because she's so much younger than Donald Trump and he might die, or it was just pathetic. So there's two issues, and that is, under the First Amendment, does he have a right to say that as long as he doesn't threaten the life of the president? Absolutely. Does Disney have uh, a prerogative? Yes, they can put him on there if they want to be that stupid. It's their choice. And do people have a choice to lobby to get him off? Yes. There's nothing he did unless he threatened the president. Now, maybe he was implying that, but no more than, not as much as Madonna, I suppose. So he's a bore, he's talentless, he's a mean-spirited person, but he has a right to sound off, and people have a right to say, we don't want to we want to go to Disneyland. We don't want to buy anything to do with Disney. We were done with you because you're putting this guy on to get ratings. And the more he's on there, the more he's foul mouthed, the more he hates Trump. And you all know that if anybody said 25% of what he had said about Barack Obama, he would be yanked with a cane in 2 seconds off the stage. You remember the clown in the Missouri State Fair, Jack? They not only all he did was he put an Obama mask on. It wasn't a racist blackface or anything. It was just Obama's face, and they immediately banned him for life, as I remember, from the fair for life, and that was their prerogative. They wanted to do that, but we'll see. I think he does it because he thinks that he can't do anything. Everything else he's tried, his ratings are gone down. At least they've gone down enough that they don't justify his obscene salary in a cost-to-benefit analysis.
Right.
He's like Colbert. They lose 40 or 50 million, and they pay that guy 20 million or more, 30 million, and he can't make any money for them. So it's kind of like, well, we're left-wing, and we want a left-wing, expensive. We can write it off or something. But so it's the same thing with all these people. They have the right to say whatever they want as long as they don't threaten the life of the president of the United States. But
If Victor, I
it's
have
so
not.
boring. It is
Yeah,
boring.
I have not watched late night television, not that anyway,
I
for
haven't either.
years. And I did watch Johnny Carson, and it was, it was just humor, and there was no sense of with him of self-importance or
Just the
self-satisfaction,
opposite.
smuggery. Yeah,
He
yeah.
banned people. Anybody who came in and act like he was a prima donna, he banned. And the other thing is, they asked him once, why don't you, in that period, it got very political during the Nixon years. And they asked him, they said, why don't you go out and he said, why would I want to offend half my audience? That's what Michael Jordan said, the
Right.
same thing with Jordan. Why don't you be political? And even is it Steve Kerr, the coach of the Warriors,
Mm-hmm.
who could not keep his mouth shut about politics and principles and ethics, and then people reminded him, oh yeah, you go over to China and you play there and you're part of the NBA investment, franchising Chinese teams. and they got 1,000,000 people in a slave labor camp, and that doesn't bother you, Mr. Moralist? And I only mention that because the other day he came out, and he had an interview with a left-wing interviewer, and she was throwing these soft T-ball swings for him, and
Mhm.
he kinda said, "I was really shocked." He said, I'm kinda wrong what I did. I shouldn't get into
Mhm.
politics, and the critics were right about the China thing." So I was surprised. So he got smart is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, late night, comedy is a joke now. They're not very talented. This is a small audience. You got
Yeah.
500 channels to watch other than that. You've got streaming people. We got Gutfeld is out. He's got a much better ratings than these guys do,
Yeah.
and it's,
Well, okay.
I don't know.
It was, I don't know if it was a great American institution, but once upon a time, it was fun and it was
I
unthreatening
never
and it
understood
was,
it though, 'cause, my dad would watch it, or he taught at the night school, and he'd get home at 10:30 when I was in high school, and then they'd turn it on, my mom and him. But that generation, those guys would stay up till 11, and then they'd watch Carson. It started at
right,
11 after they would watch the late night news. There was no 10 o'clock news then. It was
right.
11, and then it would be over at 11:30, and then they'd watch him they'd go to, midnight, and then my dad would say, "Up and out." He'd always imitate, Dwight Eisenhower telling everybody not to to vote for Dick Nixon. "Victor Alfred Niles, get up, get out, and vote for Dick Nixon. Ike, get up." And it would be 6 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, "Well, I just saw you when I went to bed at 10, and you stayed up till 11." All those guys did in that generation.
Hey, we sleep when we die is a motto for some of us.